Hello, and welcome to the first ever, and possibly last ever, depending on my mood, aging updates. I don't really know what to call this low-effort, vloggy, updatey style of video that a strangely large amount of you requested, but here we are. Did that complete a sentence? I don't know. I didn't script any of this, and yes, I'm holding the camera with my arm instead of a tripod, because we're trying new things today. Now, do I cut to an intro, or do I just, I'll use the Aging Extras intro. And the reason I'm making this update style video instead of the regular project video that was supposed to be out today is because of this guy. It should be fully assembled by now, but I hit a bit of a snag right here. I accidentally broke one of the piston rings. The pistons have a little pin in here that the piston rings line up on. And when I tried to clamp this down with the piston ring clamp, this guy here, the lower piston ring got sideways, crossed over onto the pin, and when I clamped it down, I broke the piston ring. You can see it over here. This is the piece that I broke off by clamping down on the piston ring clamp with the piston ring out of alignment, and I just broke the rest of it because it's broken already and I wanted to get off the piston as quickly as possible. So what that means is the project is unfortunately stalled again. I had to order piston rings from Germany, and they'll probably take 3 weeks to a month to get here. And I didn't want this to happen. Obviously, I just want this project to be done, but some things are out of my control, even though I guess this is technically my fault. I mean, I used the piston ring clamp wrong and broke the piston ring. But that's where we are with the Trabant project, and that's why I'm making this video today, because I've hit another snag. And this is after I had a 1-week delay before this with something to do with the crankshaft seals that would actually be very hard to explain without showing you the crankshaft seals. But anyway, it resulted in a 1-week delay. Then I got started building the engine again, and then I broke the piston ring, and now we're sitting still. So unfortunately, I do have to wait for this new piston ring. I ordered 3 of them just in case I break any more to continue the engine rebuild process. But in the meantime, I bought a new vehicle. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but I will give you 3 hints. I think 3 hints. It has a straight 6. Let's say 4 hints. It has a straight 6. It is rear-wheel drive. It's American. And about half of you will be extremely disappointed by it. I'm just guessing here. I'll reveal what this vehicle is next week, and I should have about, 2 videos to make with it. And after that, I might be able to start working on the Trabant again. Now, I can't work on the engine until the piston rings come, but I can do a few cosmetic things. You notice the headlights are off right now. Some of the wiring with the lights is a little bit screwed up. I need to clean up some of the grounds because it's a 6-volt system and these blinkers are so weak you can't even tell they're on. And I got some new blinkered covers. I got some new taillight covers. Eastwood sent me a buffer polisher, so I might try to take some of the oxidation off this paint. I might end up burning straight through it. I don't know. I'm going to do some other various cleanup things like that. I might have the wheels powder coated. Just things like that that I can have done to the body of the car while I wait for the engine to be done. Which, who knows? After these piston rings come and I get them installed, I might have another roadblock. I might break something else, or I might find a part that's missing, and I might have to wait another month. It's the reality of working on a car in the U.S. that was never meant to be sold in the U.S. You can see here some of the new parts I have waiting for the Trabant, like a brand new generator, even though this wasn't strictly necessary. I have new mud flaps. I have an electronic ignition, which I'm pretty excited about. I've got some new light bulbs, some new taillight covers. Some of this wasn't strictly necessary, but it'll liven up the exterior of the car quite a bit. Some exhaust mounts, the world's tiniest clutch over here. This is not for the Trabant, ignore that. Now, I don't have a clue what I've just said, but let's make a segue by walking into the other building where the smart car and this Saab that's in pieces is stored. Again, this Saab, it's not mine. It belongs to someone else. I told him he could store it on my property, and now, in January, he got an inkling and decided, I'm going to start working on it again. So he pulled it inside the shop, which I lent him the space for, and he's taken the doors off and left it. I shouldn't make fun of him. He lives an hour away, and he has to come down here and work on it whenever he has some free time. But that's what the deal is with this Saab in bits. And the smart car is still here. I've bought a new battery for the smart car. There it is. It's just about the cheapest one I could find. My plan for the smart car, and the reason I bought the battery today, is because I need to move this thing out of the way. I plan to park my new vehicle in here, and it takes up quite a large amount of space, of which the smart car is currently occupying. So I need to put the battery in there, start it, and move it over there. And I think in the next month or two, I'm going to have a safety inspection done on the smart car, get a temp tag on it, and possibly do a review on it. You know, my typical style of review, not a real review. So that may be coming in a few months, but in the meantime, I just need to move over there. And also, if you weren't aware, this blank spot over here is where the Saab used to sit. I say used to sit because, and I need to take it off my insurance, and I just remembered this. I sold it a month ago. I sold it to a guy on the East Coast. He's about to retire, and he's going to do a full restoration on it. So all the problems that it had, like the rusty floors and the coolant leak issues, they were no big deal for him because he's going to do a full restoration on it. And maybe someday when he's done with that, I can go revisit the Saab and see what he's done with it. But for now, it sits in a dog kennel on his property. Now, I'd love to have filled this gap and replaced the Saab, and I'd love to replace it with the two-stroke Saab, but that's going to have to be plans for the future because as it sits right now, I can't afford such cars. Because as you probably know, I'm a full-time YouTuber now, and Patreon is paying my mortgage. Seriously, thank you to patrons because you are really helping me. Patreon is now my major source of income. YouTube is getting me almost nothing. And it's helping me survive. Maybe it'll grow in the future, maybe it won't, and I'll have to go back to a software engineering job. I don't know. But as it sits right now, I can't afford a two-stroke Saab to fill this spot. Again, as I mention every time I have this smart car on video, it's still for sale. No one's gonna buy it, but it's still for sale. Put the little clamp in place. I know you can't see what I'm doing. This is a low-effort video. I don't have to record everything. Clamp that goes over the battery doesn't really go over the battery very well in this case. Put the positive terminal on. The lights came on. That's something. Whirring noises are happening. This should start no problem. I hit the unlock button first because that's a weird security thing on these cars. You have to hit the unlock button within 30 seconds of starting it or it won't. I expect it to not start immediately because it's been sitting for so daggum long. But here we go. There we go. Started right up. Right, the seatbelt buzzer never goes off. That's really annoying. I really hate this transmission. I've received comments telling me I just don't know how to drive it, but that is incorrect. It's an awful transmission, full stop. I can't run this for too much longer because I risk carbon monoxiding myself. But look how well this fits in this little tiny gap. And off it goes. I should probably run it longer, but I don't want to take it outside today. Let's see, is that it? Is that everything? I broke a piston ring. I needed to move the smart car. I had some plans with the smart car. I sold the Saab. Bought a new vehicle that I teased relentlessly. There's an old Saab in here. Is there anything else I'm forgetting? No. You know, I knew I wasn't going to write a script for this video, but I could have at least written down a bullet-pointed list. I mean, that's what I could have done. If I have any strengths in my videos, it's my writing and my editing. I like to treat every video as if it's a low-budget, one-man TV show. And with this, I've sort of thrown all of that completely out of the window. So if you didn't like this video, I completely understand. If you did like this video, I don't at all. And I didn't write anything, I didn't plan anything. I just wanted to see what it would be like to come out here with a camera in my hand most of the time and just film things. Just see what it's like. Because I'm sure that's what 50% of my audience thinks I do anyway. Even though I don't. Before I film any video, I spend a day or two writing the script for it. Unless it's a project video, and then I spend a day or two editing where I would have spent time writing a script for any other video. My videos take a long time, and I think it's fully worth it, because anything less is just not fulfilling, and there's no point of doing this if it's not fulfilling for me. So, with that horrible rambly rant over with, my hand's shaking, the camera's getting heavy when I hold it out that far. With that rambly rant over with, goodbye. See you next week, where hopefully I'll be revealing my new vehicle. I keep saying vehicle, that's a hint. I'll give you another hint. The wheels on it go round and round. It's a song.